That's exactly right.
Oh, you know something? Here's something for you. Okay, I'm gonna give you a little something to chew on here. So Tom Brady retires, right?
Oh, I was going to ask you about that.
I thought it was interesting. Allegedly
Right.
retires,
We'll,
right?
we'll unpack that in a minute. Yeah.
Quarterbacks coach though for the Buccaneers, Clyde Christensen, comes out. He's on a podcast and he gets asked about what happened with Antonio Brown. He said something I thought was really interesting. He said and I'm paraphrasing him here. He said what was really unfortunate about was how quickly it escalated and the fact that it didn't occur between series. And I think he was strongly insinuating that would have been a completely different, turnout if Tom Brady had not been on the field when it happened. That if Tom Brady had been on the sideline, and also I wonder if Tom might admit he would have liked an opportunity to mediate, to not have BA just blow up and say,
just
get the F out of here.
Decide
I'm making the call for the GM and the quarterback, and we all made this call together to get this. I'm going to unilaterally blow it up. Tom probably would have liked an opportunity to weigh in.
I don't doubt it, which is why I think, and there's probably a lot of things going into it, but it's why I think it took so long from that blow up on Sunday to finally release him later in the week. But speaking of which, there was another report, and this one is from Rich. Michael, you remember Rich Ornberger? Remember that name?
Oh, yeah. Offensive lineman, right?
Yeah, so apparently he works for Fox Sports now. And he said that he's heard some things recently that there was some tension between Brady and Arians and among Brady, Arians, and Leftwich. Not that was the deciding factor in Brady's alleged retirement, his so-called retirement, but he's just saying, hey, this is just something else. So I don't believe he's done. Michael believes he's done. I'm going to ask you like this. How long before Tom Brady is a San Francisco 49er? Because that's where this is headed.
Listen, when the first of the two retirements happened, I thought it was interesting because Tony Romo came out. Tony knows Tom, okay? And Tony Romo comes out and he says, he was on like a morning show. And he says, speaking from an experience standpoint, right, somebody walked away from the game when he could have kept playing. Tony could have said, hey, go ahead, trade me. I'll go play for the Texans or whoever else. But he walked. And Tony said he didn't think Tom was done. Like, he was like, he basically paraphrasing again, like he was basically like, I'm going to sound crazy here, but I think there's like a Michael Jordan comeback that's going to happen here. Like, he was like, basically that Tom leaving at his peak, knowing he could still do it, given some time away, that there's still going to be that urge there. And he basically said at this point, Tom didn't have anything to conquer when he hung it up, because if they won another Super Bowl, Tom could have said, well, no one's ever won 3 in a row. So we could do that. I'm going to stick around for another year to win 3 in a row. But when you get knocked out of the playoffs like that, Tony was like, he didn't really have a mountain to climb, but take a year off. Now there's a mountain to climb, because everyone's going to go, no way, that's crazy.
Because now you've given Father Time, you're giving him a boost. Like, all right, I already kicked your ass, so now I'll take a break, Father Time, and then I'm going to come back and beat you when I'm older.
And here's the thing about this.
Yeah.
All 3 of us would sit here and go, what the hell is Tom doing? Like 46? You can't come back after a year off 46. Yeah. And then I'm like, that's right. That's how this whole career has been. Like, oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't do that. Yeah. Oh, you can't. He said, I'm going to play into my 40s. We're like, 40s? You said, I'm going to play till I'm 45. Like, 45? Like, everything is like, you can't do that. And then he's like, yeah, I'm going to.
So he's not going to play until he's 50. He's going to play at 50. That's how I see it.
Hey, you know what? And you know what? I can imagine his wife saying, "You've never had to climb the hill of your wife saying, 'I'm out,' if you do it." So go ahead, because I think that is on the table. If he wants to stay married, he'll stay retired.
Yeah,
I think it's that serious. I really do.
That's fair. It might be that serious. I mean, there's no question. One, I will put this real quick. And someone, when Parcells kept coming back, I was talking to somebody in the league once who's really close to Bill. And he said to me, he likened the NFL to a train. And he said, most of us get thrown off the train. Like, we don't get a choice. We're just tossed and it's over. The train leaves without us, and then that's it. A spare few of us step off the train and then start to watch it leave when we know we can still get back on. And it's really hard to just go ahead and let it pull out of the station without us. And I always think of that. Like, when someone walks, when they clearly have something left to give in the NFL, how hard is it going to be for them to watch that thing pull off and not jump on at the last second or go, hey, I still got a chance here. And so I thought about that with Tom.
Well, you know what, Charles, Mike said something very casually like, hey, Tom Brady, a 49er. I don't think that's a great fit. How about you?
It is.
Wait,
he and Kyle would be interesting.
Why you think about that, Charles? Process that for a second, Michael. I need you to just elaborate on the question, the premise. But where would Tom? You said Charles. No, you said
no,
I don't think.
I don't think
Charles
that's a great fit. Now, I
why
didn't
don't you think it's a great fit?
It wasn't a Sawatsky.
Why don't you think it's a great fit?
It was.
No. I'm Sawatsky.
It had opinion in there. No.
Why?
No, I'm talking.
Where would
Charles.
Tom Brady not be a great fit?
Hey,
so,
blot him out. Blot him out. 2 boxes.
Yes, you don't even know why. You don't even know why. That's why.
I do know why. I do know why. And Charles is about to tell you.
Why is he a great fit?
It starts with Kyle and it ends with Shanahan. And let's add on that they moved up for a quarterback who they're going to let him play. But anyway, I'm asking Charles a question.
Was that so hard?
I want to talk to you. I want to talk to
Charles. You were saying.
Kyle,
you just ain't got nothing to say. Charles, what were you saying? Go ahead.
Kyle's difficult. It's like dude, Kyle. It's true. Like Kyle is a very difficult. I mean, he's a tough coach to play for. Like he's very demanding and he's very. He doesn't take long to make an assessment and go, okay, I feel like we're going to be able to do it or not. With this person. It was like when they lost in the Super Bowl, Jimmy, right? Pretty quickly afterward, you're hearing like, I don't know, like Kyle kind of questioning whether or not like this is the guy. And I'm like, you just lost in the Super Bowl. Like, are you kidding me? Like, he's questioning if he's the guy or not? And I didn't know how legitimate that was. And then obviously as the next couple of years unfolded, it was pretty clear he was questioning. And I think it did go back to that Super Bowl. And so there's a little bit of now here's the question though. McVay made the same call on Goff, was like, hey, and then it was like Stafford came in and was McVay going to be okay with Stafford being slightly beyond his control? That was one of the things I talked to McVay about in the summer. We were talking about quarterbacks and he said, you kind of want those guys to grow beyond your control a little bit. That's a good thing. Like but you also have to be able to allow them to do that. And Kyle could not micromanage Tom. He couldn't. It's going to be the opposite. Like Tom's going to go, I'm going to micromanage the offense. I'm going to micromanage the players. And Kyle's going to have to take a step back. I don't know if that's really in his nature to be able to do that, even with Tom Brady.
I just referenced the tension with Bruce Arians. So there was early on, Tom had the Bruce Arians struggles, which a lot of quarterbacks do in their first year.
And Bruce called him on it a couple of times.
He did. And even during that Super Bowl season, we thought this ain't working until it did. Right. If Kyle, and you mentioned McVay being challenged by Stafford. If Kyle Shanahan would let his ego stand in between the opportunity to put your team in the Super Bowl with Tom Brady, that's just lame. So my question would be, is it a bad fit on the part of, like, you're telling me that Kyle Shanahan wouldn't want him, or Brady wouldn't want to have to put him in his place, or both?
I can't speak to either, but here's the thing about Kyle. He's never given that opportunity. Like, when has Kyle been given the opportunity to work with, like, Tom Brady, like someone who is very capable of literally running your entire offense, installing your entire offense, shaping the culture, all these different. I don't know, like, if Kyle can step back and go, hey, I'm good with this. Now, you mentioned Arians. What changed? Okay, go back to the Super Bowl winning season. That bye week, they threw in. Like, Arians was like, whatever he wants changed, we're doing. Like, that's what we're going to do. Like, this bye week, we're going to retool it, fix it, whatever tweaks got to be made. And Tom very much was brought into the fold on reshaping some of the things that needed to be altered in the offense or tweaked, or what he liked that was working, what wasn't, needed to be thrown out. I don't know. I can only say that historically speaking, Kyle's very demanding. It taxes quarterbacks. And sometimes when you get quarterbacks who are of a certain age and of a certain accomplishment, they are like, hey, I got it. Okay, I got it. Don't sweat it. And here's a really good example. Rodgers goes to Green Bay, or Rodgers in Green Bay. Matt LaFleur goes to Green Bay. And LaFleur had this penchant where he never liked to run 2 plays in a row. Okay, the same play in a row. Like we don't run the same play twice. And Rodgers was like, no, we can do that. Like we can have success. Don't sweat it. We can have success running the same play consecutively. And LaFleur was like, okay, like this dude clearly has earned it. And they had a lot of success with that little tweak. That's kind of the thing that Tom would be like, here's what we're going to do that's going to work. Just let me handle it. And can Kyle adjust to that? That's just my question. I'm not saying he can't. Yeah. I'm just saying it's a question.
Now, listen, hey, Charles and Michael, maybe the rest of the league was just totally out of it 3 years ago or 2 years ago, actually, March of 2020. But we talk about Tom Brady now. Hey, who wouldn't want Tom Brady? Who wouldn't want Tom Brady? He's talked about it. That's why he went on the shop and was cussing in the barbershop. Like you go roll with that, MF? Because Tom Brady was a free agent, didn't need to trade for him, and the only market he had was 2 teams. It was Tampa and somebody else. Maybe the Chargers, maybe.
Coming off of that season, okay. You don't think teams would have learned their lesson?
And let me tell you, listen, how did they not learn their lessons about the previous, at that point, 18, 20, like 20 years? So the greatest coach of all time made that mistake, and then everybody else followed. Now, 2 years older, yes, better in 2021 than he was in 2019, but he's 2 years older. I don't think there's going to be like a half dozen teams coming for Tom Brady. I just don't see it.
Okay. We just showed a graphic. Right. He was the number 1 ranked quarterback that started last year.
Yeah.
Nobody would be that foolish as to say, no thanks, Tom. We're all set.
Listen, I can tell you that.
Does Houston want him? Does Jacksonville want him? And I'm not saying they're great teams either.
Well, he don't want
right.
them.
So it's not a half dozen. And then it won't be the It won't be the Bengals. It won't be the Chargers. It won't be the Niners. It won't be the Raiders. I mean, there are a lot of teams that it won't be the Patriots. All right, you tell me.
Charles, you about to say something before we move on?
I mean, nobody. There is a disease of we don't want him, but is he available? Like that can change. There are teams out there that are like, yeah, we don't need him, but then it's like, man, but we're close. Here's what I would question the 49ers organization. 49ers might look at Tom and go, maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth taking another 2 years with this kid. Yeah, we traded a lot for him, but who cares? We win a Super Bowl. Cool.
That's all I'm saying.
Like we get like what's the worst thing that happened? He spent his sophomore and junior years behind Tom Brady. There are worse things in the world than to have our number 3 overall pick, who didn't even play but 1 game his last year in college, sit behind the greatest quarterback ever who can teach him things and how to prepare. And we can still use that guy in packages. Like it wouldn't be a tough sell. I can tell you that. Like I don't think it would be a tough sell, particularly outwardly from the organization, because they go, yeah, we could probably win a Super Bowl now.
It's completely justifiable. It's completely justifiable. It's like, hey, you know what? Something changed. As in, the guy wanted to come home and finish his career with the team he grew up rooting for. Last thing I got for you, and Michael, I don't know if you have anything else. This is the last thing I got for you. Would be Kyler Murray. Where does this Kyler Murray story go and eventually end?
Kyler spoke and he didn't really say anything. It was very, I'm not about that nonsense type stuff, but it wasn't, I don't like what's coming out of there. Okay. The Super Bowl Sunday drop of like leadership, that question about leadership, that sort of thing is not great to have anyone in the organization or on the team or in the quarterback room or wherever else. And I'll give you an example. Like when that came out, I had a couple of people in the league, we were texting about Kyler, and they kind of offered suggestions of who said that. They're like, hey, look at this guy and look at his history and look at the kind of things that came out about the quarterbacks when this person was on the team. I think it's this person who's saying this. That's just not, you don't want that in your organization. And remember, they both have the same agent. Kyler Murray and the head coach, Cliff Kingsbury, have the same agent. So it's not good for Cliff Kingsbury for this to come out about Kyler. It's not good for Kyler. Like, it's just, It's not great. I thought it was more contract related because it's like, okay, this is when you would start to talk about that extension, and maybe that's a slow roll right now. A little bit. It's got a little Lamar Jackson in it where we assumed it would be done after 3, and maybe it's going to end up after 4. But yeah, that is going to be the story of the offseason. I feel like one of the big stories of the offseason that will linger right into training camp, I think, will be Kyler Murray.
No doubt. Appreciate you emptying the notebook with us. Excuse me. So sorry. I apologize. Thank you, Charles. Good to talk to you.
1995, Charles Robinson, senior in high school. Shadow boxing comes out. Method Man.
Oh.
Break it down to the bone bristle. Still speaking Scud Missile. He's speaking Johnny Blazing Nightmares like Wes Craven.
My third eye seen it coming before it happened.
It happened.
Photograph.
Thank you.
Oh, love it. All right, guys.
Thank you. That's why we love you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, that verse locked and loaded. He was like, if I don't get nothing off of this appearance, I'm dropping.
Gonna get that song. Yeah.
He was shadow boxing.
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.